Hey, I haven't made any videos in a while because a lot of things. Had a new baby, got furloughed from my job, bought a new house, a lot of crazy stuff. But here I am, got something cool to show you today. It's a SIG product, it's big, it's powerful, and it's gonna be awesome. So let's take a look. This is the SIG 716i. It's chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO. It has a 16-inch barrel. It overall is just a very appealing weapon. Has integrated QD sockets. It's been topped with a Vortex 1x8 first focal plane LPVO, and it's illuminated with night vision settings as well. It is a nice scope, and it was purchased from through Expert Voice from Vortex with a 50% off discount. So it was extremely affordable for the quality of the scope. So we're going to test the trigger. We're going to zero it. It has never been fired, and we're going to check it out and just get first impressions. All right, let's check this trigger together. 7.5. Again. Sorry, 7.5. One more time. 7.5 it is, 3 times in a row, very consistent. All right, there's no creep on this trigger whatsoever, very crisp. Very nice. Check the reset. Oh, it's a very nice trigger. Other than the weight, this trigger is very nice. All right, next we're going to check the ejection path, make sure it's ejecting in that 4 o'clock area and it's not overgassed or undergassed, and we'll try and capture that on some slow-mo as best as my cheap camera will do. All right, after reviewing the video, it ejects straight at the 3 o'clock position, but that's after it hits the deflector. So it appears to be undergassed. The brass is only about 4 feet from the ejection port, and they are deflecting off of the brass deflector here. You can see 2 marks from the 2 rounds that we fired. So they're hitting the brass deflector, and then they're flying off at 3 o'clock position. If the brass deflector wasn't there, it'd be probably more at the 5 o'clock, 4 to 5.5 group right now. But at 50 yards, if this, if it's a quality rifle and the ammo's decent, it should all just be in the same place, and that's what I'm used to. Maybe it's my fault, but the trigger pull is very hard, and that would be something I would replace immediately on this rifle. One thing I noticed so far about this is that the trigger pull is so hard that it's difficult not to anticipate the shot. You just keep waiting and keep waiting, but there's no creep. So you're just waiting for that to release. And so you just pull and pull and pull, and you're like, is it ever going to go off? 7.5 pounds is a hard trigger. It's very crisp. There's no creep whatsoever. But I find it difficult to get a consistent group. Of course, I may be a little out of practice with ammo prices the way they are, but you know, I'm at 50 yards, and I'm trying to zero the scope, and I've got an 1.5 inch group right now. But at 50 yards, if it's a quality rifle and the ammo's decent, it should all just be in the same place, and that's what I'm used to. Maybe it's my fault, but the trigger pull is very hard, and that would be something I would replace immediately on this rifle. It has a great break, but you got to get there first. Light trigger pull. Pulling. So, so far it's Winchester white box, 760 by 51, 147 grain ammunition I'm firing. Between the trigger pull and possibly the ammo, I'm not really happy with the groups I'm getting. I'm not saying it's not capable of a lot. That trigger's really, really heavy for trying to get a consistent group. And so with adjustments, 50 yards, I'll show you what I got. The recoil impulse on it is quite a bit harder than I thought it would be for an AR-10. This is the first AR-10 I have fired, and I have an FAL that I really enjoy. It's a heavier weapon though, and the recoil impulse on it is not as hard. So it jumps quite a bit when you're not holding on to the front end, or when I bench rest, I usually support the underneath the stock with my non-firing hand, and so it likes to jump when I fire it, and that could be because that downward facing port on the flash hider too. But it does have significant recoil, so you know, if you're a lightweight, it might not be the gun for you, but for a 308, it's not terrible. Much better than say a bolt action, lightweight bolt action, or a like the M1, not the M1, yeah, the M1A, M14 rifles. Those are some heavy hitting guns for your shoulder. So this is kind of in the middle. For as lightweight a gun as it is, I would say it's good. But it's harder to stay on target between the recoil and the trigger pull. So that's something that you should consider. But overall, I really like the weapon. It's a really nice looking weapon. I'm sure that with a higher powered scope and a better trigger, you could really reach out there and touch some things. But that's yet to be seen. So we're gonna take it back to 100 yards, 0 to 100 yards for the scope. The scope is amazing. It's very clear. The illumination is great on it. You can use it with or without etched glass. The adjustments, no tools required. Very nice scope. I'm very happy with the scope. So Yeah, a few things that I would change though is the trigger, and I'd probably put an extended charging handle on it, because when a scope is applied, it's difficult to reach underneath and get it. That's why I prefer side charging rifles when they're scoped. Yeah, an extended charging handle and say a 3.5 pound trigger would be ideal on this rifle. Very nice build, or very nice rifle from the factory. It's fun to get to play with things like this. All right, so let's see what I do with steel case ammo. Point the whole time, it was clear. It held zero. It shoots steel case ammo. It's basically a completely ambidextrous gun, ambidextrous mag release. All right, so overall impressions: very hard trigger pull. Turns out at 100 yards, I was getting pretty decent groups. Once I got, used to the trigger, the scope was on point the whole time. It was clear. It held zero. It shoots steel case ammo. It's basically a completely ambidextrous gun, ambidextrous mag release, ambidextrous safety, and overall, good rifle. I'd like to see what it does over time. It definitely loosened up after I shot 40 rounds through it. Again, it was a brand new gun, never fired. Full looking rifle. For the quality that you get for the price, I would say it's worth it. It's definitely a step above a PSA. So anyway, make your own opinions. Just wanted to show you something new, something that a lot of guys, I haven't seen any reviews on. So again, make your own opinions, change the trigger, and have a good time. Shoot steel case, so that's a good thing. A lot of AR-10s are finicky about that.